Energy. Igniting the human spirit. The heartbeat of our daily lives. Illuminating our homes, powering our schools, connecting communities. It's more than just a resource. It's the unseen force that brings us closer and uplifts lives. As the world grows, so does its hunger for energy. And in that increasing demand lies an incredible opportunity. To innovate, to evolve, to uplift, to improve, and to ensure that no corner of our world remains in darkness. At the heart of our energy evolution lies a challenge no one country, industry, or individual can solve. Powering our world while preserving it. Partnering economic growth with climate responsibility. A commitment to future generations, holding back emissions, not progress. The challenges of crafting the energy systems of tomorrow are vast, but in confronting them, we find the promise of a world where human progress, prosperity, and our planet thrive side by side. Now, in its year of sustainability, the UAE leads by example, offering a new, united, inclusive, and action-oriented approach to energy and climate. Here at ADIPEC, one can hear the whispers of the future, a symphony of solutions, a chorus of commitment and practical actions and innovations that steadily build a drumbeat of progress and build trust that we can be part of the solution. Let our commitment echo to every corner of the globe. We are ready to deliver the energy our growing world needs, and we will decarbonize faster together. Welcome to ADIPEC.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much, and it's nice to see everybody here. Your Highnesses, Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Vice President and Deputy Prime Minister of the UAE, great to see you again. Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, for a second year in a row. It's great to have you in the House. Your Excellencies, Chief Executives, heads of international organizations, climate specialists, leading academics, game-changing innovators, and young energy leaders, welcome to ADIPEC 2023. Let's give a nice round of applause to the organizers. It's great to have a full house here today. Building on a rich, near four-decade legacy, ADIPEC is the world's largest energy exhibition and conference, but we know by now, and especially this year, it's more than just an event. It's a force for the global energy transformation today. 160,000 participants will pass through these doors over the next 4 days, and you know what? They're looking for solutions and embracing new, innovative ideas. They're hungry for solutions today. We are here to foster dialogue and global partnerships, but most importantly, and this is extremely important for those in the room today, as a global energy community, we need to, as the ADIPEC theme underscores, move into full-scale action to decarbonize faster together. We learned in real time over the last 2 years about the energy trilemma, which in practical terms is the need to balance energy security, push forward with climate action in a real way, and provide a just energy transition for the more than 2 billion people who do not have energy on a daily basis. This ADIPEC, more than ever before, is all about credible solutions, concrete action, and an industry working collectively to meet global needs while accelerating decarbonization. And we know it cannot be done without having the experts who have to provide energy on a daily basis. It couldn't happen without those in this room. We know that for sure. So we wanted to take the pulse of the global energy companies around the world, from Asia, going down to Southeast Asia, to Africa and the global South, where they're hungry for energy, to the heart of Europe and to the Americas, even the United States. Let's take a listen to this rallying call to decarbonize better together. Please.
We are committed to connecting the world of energy, hosting an inclusive platform that sparks collaboration and innovation, helping decarbonize quicker and creating the future of energy faster.
The world needs fewer emissions and enough reliable, affordable energy for people to power their lives. It cannot be one or the other. So, at Shell, we are working to become a net zero emissions energy business by 2050, while we continue to deliver the energy that the world needs.
We promise to leverage our deep understanding of fossil fuels as a stepping stone, propelling us toward cutting-edge decarbonization technologies and strategies.
At Aramco, we believe that energy security and sustainability can coexist. We remain committed to helping supply the world's growing energy needs as we also expand our effort to develop lower carbon solutions that will provide future generations with cleaner and more sustainable energy.
We at the NMTC Limited are taking concrete steps alongside our partners to reduce our carbon footprints while providing energy for today and energy for tomorrow.
Eni is committed to a long-term decarbonization strategy based on technology and a new business model. Our goal is to deliver decarbonized products and services to our customers and balancing sustainability, energy security, and affordability.
Petronas has a duty to deliver energy that is safe, reliable, cost-optimized, and more importantly than ever, emissions abated. We do this to achieve our net zero carbon emissions aspiration by 2050 and to deliver a just and responsible energy transition.
Equinor stands firm on our ambition of being a net zero company by 2050. We believe in a balanced energy transition. We will provide energy to people and societies while accelerating our investments in renewables and low-carbon solutions.
UNOC is dedicated to a geo-track approach, enhancing the efficiency of our current infrastructure while driving momentum towards greener energy alternatives.
At Oxy, we're bringing together people, resources, innovative technology, and our 50-year legacy of carbon management to accelerate our pathway to net zero. And we're helping others to do the same.
As ADIPEC is committed to net zero by 2050, and stable supply of energy to Japan and Asian countries, we proactively pursue both clean energy projects with CCS and new energy solutions such as hydrogen and ammonia in cooperation with like-minded companies such as ADIPEC.
Here in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, transformational progress is in our nation's DNA. We are proud to have provided the world with energy for life for over 50 years, and we're committed to continuing to do so, urgently cutting emissions, accelerating the transition, and securing a lower carbon, higher growth future.
What an excellent video. I'm not sure if you were counting, but I certainly was. That was 10 CEOs of the IECs around the world and one young global energy leader. Keep an eye on her for sure. But the point is here, think about the market capitalization of those companies and the money they have to invest and the expertise they have in the field. That's the crucial point here in the opening ceremony of ADIPEC 2023. You can't move at the pace unless you have that sort of weight behind you and that expertise. And we're going to discuss that in our roundtable today. But think about it, we're less than 7 weeks away from COP28. 8 years have passed since the Paris Agreement, and we have 7 short years to get the work done. And what am I talking about here? We need to reduce carbon emissions by better than 40% in that time frame, and we need to triple investment into the renewable sector. Every time we wait, the price tag goes up. It's over $4 trillion a year, and our next guest is going to talk about the need to accelerate that investment faster because the price goes up with inflation, of course. And we cannot forget to have a voice of the Global South. We can't talk about it, we need action on it. And I think the person that's going to take the stage here will tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's welcome the President-designate of COP28, His Excellency Dr. Sultan Al Jaber. Let's give him a warm welcome.
In the name of God, Almighty, the most gracious, the most...
Vice President, Deputy Prime Minister, and Chairman of the Presidential Court of the United Arab Emirates, Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Welcome to Abu Dhabi, to the United Arab Emirates, and to ADIPEC. ADIPEC brings together the leaders who must shape a future where energy is accessible, secure, affordable, sustainable, and decarbonized. And before I begin, let me just say this. The last time I addressed the energy industry in March at Sarah Week, I had some mixed feelings. But after thinking long and hard, I decided I had to be there. I decided I had to be there because I firmly believe that just as this industry has enabled human prosperity in the past, it will be essential to solving the global challenges we all face today. And as COP28 President, I have met with many people around the world representing different backgrounds, different sectors, and different industries. And my key takeaways from these engagements only reinforced my full conviction about the central importance of full inclusivity. Everyone must be at the table to make the transformational progress needed, especially the energy industry. No other industry has the same ability to manage complexity, depth of knowledge, engineering talent, capital, technology, and scale that is needed for the task at hand. And that's why today I stand before you filled with hope, optimism, and confidence that this industry can step up and make a meaningful contribution to tangible, sustainable progress. Here is the challenge we face. All the indicators are telling us that we have to change course to address climate change. The IPCC has calculated that the world must reduce emissions by at least 43% over the next 7 years in order for us to keep 1.5 within reach. That is our North Star. It is, in fact, our only destination. It is simply acknowledging and respecting the science. And we must do this while also ensuring human prosperity by meeting the energy needs of the planet's growing population. In fact, we need a system-wide holistic transformation of entire economies. Economies that currently run on the equivalent of 250 million barrels of oil, gas, and coal every single day. These are barrels that need to be either replaced or decarbonized to create a proper yet responsible, pro-climate, pro-growth future. It is a monumental task. It is also a historic opportunity for growth and innovation. It represents the largest economic opportunity since the first industrial revolution. In fact, we already know that this is already actually happening. Clean tech investments reached a record of $1.7 trillion last year. A record of 440 gigawatts of renewable energy are set to be added to the grid only this year in 2023. Electric vehicle sales have tripled in the past 3 years. And as I've said before, a phase down of fossil fuels is inevitable. In fact, it's essential. Yet, this must be part of a comprehensive energy transition plan that is fair, that is fast, just, orderly, equitable, and responsible. This energy transition must be well managed and carefully considered. There are 3 key areas that I believe can have the biggest impact in the shortest period of time. The first is curbing emissions from the production of energy. And I have called on all IOCs and NOCs to step up and align around net zero by or before 2050. Zero out methane emissions and eliminate routine flaring by 2030. And I am very pleased to say that over 20 oil and gas companies, both IOCs and NOCs, representing all continents, have positively answered the call. But you all know that this took time, a lot of effort, and many months of hard work, and I mean hard work, negotiation, and collaboration. And I urge everyone to make this commitment at COP28 in Dubai this year. COP28 is a COP where I am calling on everyone to set the highest ambitions and follow through with practical actions to deliver real and tangible results. Second, I believe this industry has a critical role in scaling up renewable energy. We have been calling for renewable energy capacity to be tripled to 11,000 gigawatts by 2030. This goal is now supported by 85% of the world's economies and represent a unique opportunity for this industry to diversify and future-proof its own business models. However, the intermittent nature of renewables means they are not a baseload source of power for heavy emitting industries. This takes us to the third area, decarbonizing hard-to-abate sectors like steel, cement, aluminum, and heavy transportation. These sectors will require low-carbon solutions, including hydrogen, carbon capture, battery storage, and renewable fuels. We know that solutions exist, and all industries can and must act. But we know that they cannot act alone. Governments should be proactive in setting the right demand signals and dealing with critical issues like permitting. Together, we must overcome the hurdles to scale up and commercialize hydrogen and carbon capture technologies. In addition, we must reimagine the relationship between producers and the heaviest consuming sectors. Since March, I have been convening heavy emitting sectors alongside the energy industry, as well as governments, NGOs, civil society, scientists, technologies, and technologists, and the financial community to help accelerate our drive for real and meaningful decarbonization. COP28 must be the turning point where we begin to get back on track and start our sprint to 2030. And we don't claim that we have all the answers. In fact, nobody has all the answers. But working together, we can lay a solid foundation for a climate-positive, economically sustainable future. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, back in March at CERAWeek in Houston, I said, Houston, we have a problem. And today, at ADIPEC in Abu Dhabi, I say with full confidence, hope, and optimism that this industry can and must help drive the solutions. For too long, this industry has been viewed as part of the problem that is not doing enough, and in some cases, even blocking progress. This is your opportunity to show the world that, in fact, you are central to the solution. This industry can change the global debate. In fact, this industry can change the global outcome. And it is time to silence the skeptics by applying scale, capital, technology to deliver real outcomes and tangible results. It is time to turn rhetoric into results, ambitions into action, pilots into scalable projects. It is time to unite. It is time to act, and it is time to deliver. Thank you once again for being with us, and please join us on this vital journey for humanity. Thank you again.
Sultan Al-Jaber, thank you very much. Excellent speech, and all within 10 minutes. You never cease to amaze me with some of the numbers that you put out there. The barrel equivalent, 250 million barrels a day, to give it the context of people who don't follow this, the UAE is moving to a capacity of 5 million barrels a day by 2027. You have to have 50 times that amount on a daily basis. That's the demand for hydrocarbons today, so we have to move quickly. And when they talk about this action, COP28, they've held the modulus where you sit and discuss, but this wasn't just to talk about ideas, it was bringing the major producers of the world with the major consumers of energy that Dr. Sultan was talking about to say, how do we move forward from here? Not talking about it, how do we implement renewables? So demand for hydrogen rising, for wind and for solar, battery storage, electric vehicles. How do we accelerate that process and make sure it's an even energy transition without the shocks that we've seen over the last couple of years? We're going to talk about that with our ministers here. Something unusual for ADIPEC. We're going to bring the major exporters of the world and also the major importers and show, are they collaborating in that spirit that Dr. Sultan's talking about? Let's welcome them to the stage. First, His Excellency Suhail Al-Mazroui, the Minister of Energy and Infrastructure from the UAE. panel. If we can go 20, it would be excellent. So I'm going to ask my panelists to be extremely focused, right? So and also have a little debate about this journey. I think, Your Excellency, Suhail Mazrui, there's a lot of discussion about this rise to 5 million barrels of capacity, as I just noted, at 2027. But most people just look at the UAE as an oil and gas producer and that it doesn't want to do anything else. You've launched actually 3 new packages in 2023, which not only focuses on national policy, but it also has an international investment landscape as well. Can you clarify for the record what this looks like as the host of COP28 by leading by example, if you will?
Thank you, John, and it's great to be with this distinguished ministers panel. For us in the UAE, as His Excellency Dr. Sultan laid it down, it's very clear. We're working on 2 parallel tracks. We believe in the sustainability, and actually we've been believing in it not just now, I would say more than 17 years ago, when UAE started diversifying its energy sector, introducing nuclear as a clean energy, introducing and investing in renewable, and that's something that we will triple our investment in by the year 2030. We lay down our strategy, and so 3 times the renewable energy projects that you see in UAE will be there by 2030. And we will move even more aggressive from that. But that doesn't mean that we are going to ignore our responsibility to our consumers and to the world in ensuring that we have a reliable source of energy during the transition. We are transitioning, and we need that oil to be there. Otherwise, the consumers are going to be the losers in this game. It's not a political, it's something that we believe in, our right to ensure that we have a responsibility, and that responsibility is passed to the consumers. So the 5 million was planned for 2030. When we saw the level of investments going down and no one is investing, our leadership decided to put more capital and bring it forward to the year 2027. And we believe even with that, it may not be enough if others are not doing their share of bringing enough resources. It's not a secret that within OPEC Plus, we lost 4 million barrels just in 3 years. And those are not going to come back.
Because of a lack of underinvestment.
Yes, because of lack of investment. But at the same track, we have passed the upgrade or the first revision of our energy strategy, calling for tripling the investments in the renewable energy. We have also laid down a strategy in investing in hydrogen. So even though we are producing oil and gas, we believe in hydrogen, and we believe UAE will be an exporter of hydrogen, and we will be producing 1.4 million ton of hydrogen by the year 2030, 2031.
So you're talking about blue and green hydrogen then, from
Yes.
gas and from renewables. I'm going to park it there for just a second. If the ministers don't mind, I was going to go to His Excellency Haytham Al-Gaith to pick up on this subject matter, because we've learned a lot over the last 18 months because of the risk to energy security. These 2 people on the panel know it better than anybody else, right? Because of the challenges of supply into the European Union in particular. One place is a transit hub. One was extremely reliant on supplies coming from Russia and had to juggle. You're very interesting. I've watched some of the analysis you've been putting out there about not just a just energy transition, what you've talked about, but it's an even energy transition. And a lot of people are just looking short term at $100 oil, right? And record demand at over 100 million barrels a day. How do you see the transition unfolding, and what is the role of OPEC Plus? I'm going to ask for brevity too. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Well, first of all, let me start by saying thank you to the UAE for hosting again this lovely event, amazing event. Thank you, Your Highness Sheikh Mansour, for being with us, Your Excellencies. I think it's critical to underline a very important keyword that His Excellency Al-Mazrui just mentioned, the underinvestment that's been happening. We at OPEC have been talking about the danger of underinvesting in our industry for many years. And I must say it, while others have been calling to underinvest and not invest enough in oil because we are transitioning away, as Dr. Sultan highlighted, His Excellency was very clear with some very strong key words. It has to be just, has to be orderly, has to be inclusive. We have to have a clear roadmap of where we are heading and how we're going to get there. This is what we are calling at for in OPEC for many, many years, and we continue to repeatedly call for the importance of continuing to invest in the oil and gas industry. Particularly for oil, we see calls to stop investing in oil. We believe this is counterproductive. This puts countries, as you highlighted, their excellencies, the ministers sitting here from Turkey, from Europe, and many other parts of the world at risk, because the cornerstone of global economic prosperity today is energy security. And this is what we try to do at OPEC. We try to maintain spare capacity, and everybody thinks it's just investing in producing oil. But we also have to see the whole value chain. And here we have a whole array of people from the whole industry. We invest not only in upstream and production, but it has to be in a refining industry, petrochemical industry, everything that keeps this cog turning, the whole world, the whole economy moving, shipping, midstream activities. It's a whole value chain. At OPEC, we see investments required from now to 2045 for the oil industry alone of around 14 trillion US dollars. That's around $600 billion per year, just for the oil industry. This is what it requires to be able to achieve energy security for Europe, for the rest of the world.
And the demand you're projecting is at least 103 million barrels a day in 2024, so it's record demand at this stage. Minister Bakhtar, it's great to have you on the panel, and congratulations as going from deputy minister to minister. It's very interesting to watch Turkey because of its role as a transit hub, of course. You have 45% of energy demand being met by renewables, and you're blessed with hydropower. Solar and wind, and you're building it. You have a nuclear facility coming online, on stream. But what do you see as your major priorities now that you've taken the top job to mix in what the Secretary General of OPEC is saying, strategic oil and gas supply, so you have that totality? What's the priorities? Let's watch the time, though.
Thank you, John. Good to be back to ADIPEC and Abu Dhabi. There are two priorities in my agenda. Number one is energy security, supplying reliable and affordable energy to Turkish citizens. And the second part is obviously to decarbonize our economy, across the economy in different sectors. And to focus on energy security, demand is growing in Turkey. So we need to meet this growing demand. We need a lot of investment on power side, on the gas side, and oil side. At the same time, we are expecting this demand continue to grow over the next 2 decades. We are expecting 3.7% electricity demand is continue to grow. And to decarbonize this, plus to reduce the import dependency, almost 70% of primary energy sources comes to Turkey through imported ways. So on one hand, I need to meet this growing demand. On the other hand, I need to reduce this import dependency. So that's why we are investing on renewables quite heavily. We have a very ambitious plans to add each and every single year 5 gigawatts of solar and wind. And we would like to also use nuclear as an important decarbonization tool. And as you said rightly, we are constructing our first nuclear power plant. But we would like to reach over 20 gigawatts of nuclear power generation in Turkey with large-scale conventional type of nuclear plus small modular reactors. And we would like to utilize our energy efficiency and also reduce energy intensity. But we are investing heavily on upstream projects for natural gas because we see that the natural gas is going to play a crucial role in our energy transition. That's why we are investing heavily on upstream projects together with some potential partners. And also, we would like to introduce these new technologies, hydrogen, storage, and also digital technologies to overcome this such a huge challenge in Turkish energy market.
Just a very quick follow-up. You're a transit hub, as I talked about here. You bring in gas from Russia on the Turk Stream. You have a very strategic one with the Iraqi-Turkish pipeline. What can you tell us? Because it's something that's been bubbling for a long time, but it's reality.
Well, Turkey was always a reliable transit route for oil and gas, actually. For the oil side, as of today, 2 million barrels of oil goes through Turkish Strait. And almost 700,000 barrels oil flows from Caspian resources, Caspian fields, to Turkey, to Ceyhan, and to global markets. From Iraqi-Turkey pipeline, which was operational for last 45 years, almost 500,000 barrels was flowing. And I would like to just announce today that the oil pipeline was damaged. This devastating earthquake hit to Turkey at the beginning of February, and we have been followed by floods and everything. And but as of today, the pipeline is ready to operate, and within this week, we will start operating the Iraqi-Turkey pipeline, which after the resuming the oil operations, it will be able to supply 500,000 barrels to global oil market. For the gas side, we will already supplying a significant amount of gas to Europe through TANAP, Trans-Anatolian Pipeline, and also West Balkan Pipeline to Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Moldova as of today. So we are becoming a more trade hub for the gas as well. Thank you.
Good, very strategic, of course. Minister Burduja, it's good to have you. It's great to have Romania represented. In that spirit, how do you see collaboration here between Turkey and Azerbaijan and the lesson learned because of the energy shock of an overdependency perhaps on Russia? And there's about $20 billion available from the European Union to diversify your energy stock. How do you put that puzzle together as the minister now in urgency?
Thank you, John, and it's a pleasure to be here. I think that we're all facing this seemingly impossible trilemma, and I think there's no better place to solve it than here in the Emirates, where it seems that the impossible is possible through your leadership, and thank you. It seems there's no better time to do it than now. We have a North Star, and the clock is ticking. We've heard it all.
You must have really liked the speech. You're quoting it already.
Indeed,
it's pretty good, yeah.
Indeed.
The North Star.
And I think there's no better format to do it in because we really need to work together with the private sector. And so that is perhaps the first key lesson that we bring from Romania. We have 20 billion euros grant funding for investments in renewables in the energy transition. But let me give you one example. We've had a competitive call worth 400 million euros. We were hoping to stimulate building about 1 gigawatt of solar and wind. We ended up building 3.5 gigawatts. So as long as the government plays this role of a facilitator well, it just stimulates the private market, creates the right conditions. I think that's exactly what we need to do. Second, I think that we also need to worry about a transition and transmission. To quote an Emirati company, there's no transition without transmission.
Interesting. So it's cross-border collaboration is what you're suggesting.
It is cross-border collaboration, and given the increase of green energy in the mix, you need more and more capacity to balance the system. And one solution that we found is direct current. So we are in a joint project with Azerbaijan, Georgia, under the Black Sea, through Romania, through Hungary and the rest of Europe with an HVDC, high voltage direct current cable. And we hope to finalize that by 2030 when 2 additional large-scale reactors will come online in Romania, nuclear reactors, as well as by 2029 we hope the first SMR in Europe. We have an advanced project with NewScale, the American company.
By 2029?
By 2029.
Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to leave it there with you. I'm just going to go very quickly to the Secretary General and finish with His Excellency, the Minister of Energy Infrastructure in the UAE. Very quickly, I know everybody in this room wants to know when we're going to see a rebalance because of that record demand. Everybody seems to be very freaked out about $100 oil again. And are you worried whether that dampens demand? Because many of the economists I'm speaking to are worried about a recession next year. A minute or less, Your Excellency.
It's difficult to say because of the state of the global economy. I mean, people are talking with different perspectives on the state of the global economy. Some see it quite resilient, some see it fragile, It depends where you look at. People look a lot at China and what it brings to the global economy, and the reopening of China that was anticipated to bring back a big boom to oil demand. We still see oil demand quite resilient this year as it was last year, north of 2.3 million barrels a day year-on-year growth in our forecasts. Next year also we are quite positive on demand growth for global oil demand. Most of that, of course, would be in the non-OECD, in Asia, Middle East. So we are still quite optimistic with demand. And that's why I said earlier on, I think the issue comes here, the importance of continuing to invest while we try to decarbonize faster our industry. But the investments in the oil industry are key. We are in a stage where we are running quite low on spare capacity. We have said this repeatedly, and this requires a concerted effort by all of the stakeholders to see the importance of investing in this industry.
Thank you very, very much. We have a minute left, Minister Mazrui. How do we get the political out of the conversation? I talked about this obsession with $100 oil and that OPEC Plus is collaborating with Russia, which is not the case. It's trying to balance the market. And does that distract us from what Dr. Sultan was talking about here on consistent investment in the hydrocarbons where you need it and to accelerate into the renewable transition and alternative fuels like both Turkey and Romania we're talking about here? How do we move on where you can see the forest from the trees, the big picture in the medium term?
I think we started to see that bigger picture and if I may give an example. It's like we have a storm coming and we only have a limited stack of wood and we have a fire. If we throw in all of that, and that is the reserve we have now, a 1 million here, a 1 million there. But if the increase in demand every year is going to be 2 million, and we lost already 4 million barrels since 2020 by 23 countries, having the reserve of 80% of the world reserve and producing 40% or less than 40%. That's a scary picture. So this is the situation we are in. 80% of the resource lies with OPEC Plus. They are only producing 40%. And 60% is with those who are having 20% of the reserve. Definitely, there is a steep decline in the production of those countries, and we have seen it. If no investments in the level of $500 billion every year are coming, there is no solution we can think of not facing the reality that the resources are not going to be enough. So for that reason, our leadership advanced the investment and ensure that we are doing it. And I think Saudi Arabia is doing the same, and some others are doing. But there is a very limited appetite. Interest rate is high. Investors are not investing. And if we are fighting that transition fuel, then the prices of that transition fuel is not going to be something that we all like. So I think we need to keep the politics aside, and we keep always in OPEC and OPEC Plus. We work as a technical group, not as a political group. And we don't take calls when people are calling us, do this or do that, because we care about the market and we have a responsibility toward the consumers of the world. That's, I think, what we believe is the right thing, and we will continue doing the right thing.
Okay, I'll have to park it there. I wanted to thank everybody for the panel and also the conversations that we had over the last couple of days. Minister Mazrui, Dr. Bakr, nice to see you again. Minister Burjuja, it's great to see you, and His Excellency, the Secretary General of OPEC. Can we give them a nice round of applause, please? And thank you for being so direct.
Thank you, John.
Thanks. I'll see you after. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Thank you very much. That wraps up our opening ceremony. I just want to make a reminder here that after the tour of the exhibition, which I would appreciate you doing and enjoying, we're going to be back here sharp at 12 o'clock. We're going to hear from the chairman of BAPCO, His Highness Sheikh Nasser. That'll be very interesting. And my former colleague, Becky Anderson, is going to be doing the first ministerial when the strategic conference starts. And we have a whole series of the very CEOs you saw in the video here that are going to be on stage with our media partners as well. Can I give a thanks for the invitation to Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber and the whole group, Sheikh Mansour, Sheikh Khalid, nice to see you again, and thank you very, very much.